Dr. Sangeeta S. Patnakar. She's from YMT Dental Corazon Hospital. And topic for our today presentation is salivary pretone profiling in oral squamous fibrosis and oral cancer. So I'd like to request Dr. S. Patnakar to present her presentation. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. At the outset, I would like to thank the organizers of this summit for giving me an opportunity to present my work in front of you. Today, I would like to address to a very important issue in our country, that is oral cancer, and whether it can be diagnosed and detected at an early stage or even a precursor stage, that is pre-malignant stage. So the topic of my presentation today is salivary proteome profiling in oral submucous fibrosis and oral cancer. Oral cancer has emerged as a global health problem due to its relatively high incidence and significant morbidity and mortality. It affects around 3 lakh people worldwide annually. India leads the world in the prevalence of oral cancer. Almost 30% of the cancers in India are oral cancers. And being a dentist by profession and an oral pathologist, I'm definitely seeing many cases of oral pre-cancer and cancer at our institution. Despite remarkable advances in the recent therapeutic strategies, the 5-year survival rate is still less than 50%. The poor outcome of oral cancer patients is ascribed to the fact that the disease develops from asymptomatic lesions and is often diagnosed and treated only when it reaches an advanced stage. All of us know the major risk factors for oral cancer, they being smoking, alcohol, smokeless tobacco use, betel quid chewing, gutka, pan masala, etc. Most cases of oral squamous cell carcinoma develop from visible lesions in the oral cavity called oral potentially malignant disorders such as leukoplakia, erythroplakia, and oral submucous fibrosis. I would like to bring to your attention this particular potentially malignant disorder, oral submucous fibrosis, because it is very, very common in the Indian subcontinent, as well as we have seen many cases in our state for oral submucous fibrosis. Oral squamous cell carcinoma screening usually relies on visual examination of the oral cavity by dentists, followed by biopsy of a suspicious lesion. However, that can be possible in lesions like this, leukoplakia, erythroplakia, wherein you can have a small incisional biopsy of the lesion along with a normal tissue and can send it for histopathological examination. We can get a diagnosis. However, in cases of oral submucous fibrosis, you can see the mouth opening is very, very limited. As you can see in the right picture, the mouth opening is less than 1 centimeter. So such patients are unable to open their mouth for inspection and the lesion cannot be detected. At the same time, oral submucous fibrosis is a generalized state where cancer can develop at any site in the oral and pharyngeal region. Moreover, the malignant transformation rate for oral submucous fibrosis is very high, around 7 to 13%. Hence, identification of a biomarker signature with high sensitivity and specificity could dramatically improve early detection of squamous cell carcinoma in SMF. As we all know, the genetic aberration in cancer cells lead to altered gene expression patterns, which can be identified long before the cancer phenotypes are manifested. In the past, gene and protein expression profiles from oral squamous cell carcinoma lesions have been studied by various authors using tumor tissue and tumor-derived cell lines. However, no consensus has been reached to which biomarker is useful for detecting malignancy at an early stage or a pre-malignant lesion. Hence, circulatory tumor markers for oral squamous cell carcinoma have become a focus of research. The identification of molecular markers in body fluids, such as serum or saliva, that can predict development of cancer would be of great help in screening high-risk population. Human saliva as a diagnostic fluid can offer an inexpensive and non-invasive approach for disease detection. Oral lesions are surrounded by salivary milieu, which makes detection of salivary biomarkers more feasible. There are additional benefits, such as stress-free sample collection, easy storage and transportation, cost effectiveness, and minimal risk of infection. So a term was coined in 2008, saliva-omics, to highlight rapid development of knowledge about the various omics constituents of saliva, including genome, proteome, transcriptome, metabolome, microbiome, microRNA. Whole saliva contains innumerable proteins like hormones, enzymes, antibodies, cytokines. As you can see from this diagram, there are amylases, there's cystatins, histidines, lactoferrins, immunoglobulins, etc. So then what is proteomics? It's the identification and quantification of the entire protein complement of cell, tissue, or organism under a specific defined set of conditions. In addition to identifying proteins, it also assesses protein abundance, localization, post-translational modification, isomers, and molecular interactions. Proteomics relies on three technological cornerstones. First, a method to fractionate complex proteins and peptide mixtures, mass spectrometry to identify individual proteins, and bioinformatics to analyze and assess. Two principal methods of proteome analysis put together, 2D gel electrophoresis and mass spectrometry analysis. 2D gel electrophoresis enables separation of proteins in 2 dimensions according to isoelectric point and molecular weight. Mass spectrometry enables identification of proteins and their qualitative as well as quantitative evaluation. Post-translationally modified proteins can be evaluated by mass spectrometry and a new technique that is high-performance liquid chromatography mass spectrometry. Considering these things in the background, we in our department of oral pathology at our institute, we conducted a short study with an aim to explore salivary protein biomarkers by comparative profiling of salivary proteomes of healthy volunteers, patients with oral submucous fibrosis, and oral squamous cell carcinoma patients using HPLC-MS. Unstimulated whole saliva samples were collected from healthy volunteers, 10 patients of submucous fibrosis and 5 patients of oral squamous cell carcinoma with a standard protocol. The samples were centrifuged, supernatant was removed, and protease inhibitors were added to prevent digestion. The samples were stored at -80 degrees Celsius till further use. The samples were processed and proteomic analysis was performed using Orbitrap HPLC-MS, which was done at IIT Bombay. Data analysis of the altered proteins was done using Thermoproteome Discoverer 2.2. Uniprot Homo sapiens was the database used. The list of identified proteins included large number of structural proteins like keratins, enzymes, cytokines, immunoglobulins, as well as amylase and other salivary specific glycoproteins. Altered proteins were obtained as a raw data and transferred to Excel sheet. On manual verification, proteins of clinical relevance were identified pertaining to the disease process. The altered proteins belong to various metabolic pathways such as carbohydrate metabolism, inflammation, immunomodulation. This is the Excel sheet showing the proteins. I would like to show you 2 graphs to show the relative abundance. We got such graphs with peaks and we matched them with a database and found out which proteins were upregulated. So this is for one of the graph for oral submucous fibrosis, and this one is for oral squamous cell carcinoma. In our study, we found 14 proteins were upregulated, 8 were downregulated, and 3 were differentially regulated. So this table is showing upregulated proteins such as alpha-1 antitrypsin, S100 histones, profilin-1, beta-2 microglobulin, adenylyl cyclase associated proteins, and some heat shock proteins. Some proteins were downregulated, such as glucose 6-phosphate-1 dehydrogenase, calponin, stadherin, lactoferrin, glutathione peroxidase. In our study, small proline-rich protein, adenosine deaminase, and aldehyde dehydrogenase were differentially regulated. We could not identify whether they were up or down regulated. Some samples showed different regulation. Analysis of salivary proteome has been proposed as a practicable approach for exploring potential biomarkers that are probably detectable in saliva. The salivary proteome of head and neck cancers has been reported previously. Our study has attempted to evaluate to know what proteins are present in oral submucous fibrosis and to correlate them with oral squamous cell carcinoma in order to determine their role in malignant transformation of OSMF. Our data revealed abundant salivary proteins that were different in submucous fibrosis group from healthy volunteers. And the upregulated proteins were correlated with biological processes of polysaccharide metabolism, protein maturation, response to defense, inflammation, and immunomodulation. Ours was a qualitative analysis and an untargeted analysis, and we would definitely like to take it further to a quantitative evaluation by having more samples so that a proper statistical evaluation can be done. In our study, we found, to name a few, proteins. Upregulated proteins were alpha-1 antitrypsin, a protease inhibitor which has immunomodulatory properties. It inhibits TNF-alpha and interleukin-10 expression in Hansen. Kininogen-1, a protease inhibitor which is pro-inflammatory. Some heat shock proteins which participate in regulation of cell cycle differentiation, apoptosis, and tumorigenesis. I found that kininogen-1 and heat shock proteins were also upregulated in some other studies. We found adenylyl cyclase associated proteins, which are overexpressed in pancreatic cancer, which are involved in cancer cell motility, to be upregulated in our samples. So that probably suggests that these cases can probably proceed to malignancy in near future. Beta-2 microglobulin and profilin, which are upregulated in many other cancers, were also upregulated in our study. Protein analysis of saliva offers an attractive, simple, rapid diagnostic tool for monitoring oral potentially malignant disorders and their progression towards malignancy. But there are few challenges in proteomic analysis. A standardized system for saliva collection and analysis is indispensable, which is not followed at all centers. Plus, salivary proteins are vulnerable to environmental factors like proteolytic enzymes, oral microorganisms, and circadian patterns. Hence, immediate processing, and if not, freezing at -80 degrees Celsius is mandatory. Protease inhibitors are recommended to prevent the digestion of these proteins. One more important point is that many informative proteins are present in lower amounts in saliva than in serum, and so highly sensitive tools and methods such as mass spectrometry are necessary for salivary proteome analysis. Since a complete database for proteomics doesn't exist as is so for genomics, hence extensive validation with large patient cohorts is required before it can be translated into clinical applications. These are some of my references, and I would like to thank and acknowledge the entire team of SAIF IIT Bombay, my colleague Dr. Gokul, and my postgraduate student Dr. Priyanka for helping me out with my study. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr.